Izukan, you find yourself in Frozen Ire Inn. It is a very loud, energetic place. A place where people are drinking, talking, telling stories about adventures they've been on, about things they've seen lingering in the snow. It's a place where you stay and you eat, and you don't really get bothered. Except for a particular tiefling who doesn't know how to shut up and leave you alone. Whose company, who, even if you don't outwardly express it, is growing on you a little bit. On this particular day, you find yourself walking into the room. As the door swings open and Izukan steps in. Can you describe Izukan for everyone? What does the bar see?
Izukan is hunched over, about 7 or so feet tall, white dragonborn with a teal coloration to his scales as well. He wears kind of classic barbar attire, leathers, furs, small amounts of metal, with a longbow across his back. He has multiple eyes and multiple sets of horns, and a tail.
How many eyes?
6 in total.
Okay. Just a little creepy. As Izukan steps into the room, there's a draft that blows in, the door slamming shut behind, and everyone kind of quiets down for a moment. There's this thin, scrawny kid sitting up on your chair, and you can see some other dude sitting next to him. His eyes go wide, and he starts, like, shaking his buddy, and the guy turns back and, like, scrambles off.
Izukan will walk up to his chair, now that it has been vacated, and sit down.
You sit down, you see the tall, fairly muscular Goliath, Baradoth Frosthorn. He's the guild leader here. He's got a bit of a bluish tint to his skin, long white hair that's pulled back in a bit of a bun, and a pretty large beard that's kind of a mix of white and gray. Izukan. You seek work?
Yes.
All right. Can I get a drink for you?
My usual.
He kind of goes and pours you a drink, sets it down. What is it?
Currently, it's just black coffee.
Oh, okay.
It's early in the morning. Izukan's a normal person, just like everybody else.
Okay.
He needs something to help him get going. All right. He might be a big dragonborn, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Got a bit of a hard one for you today. Kid ran away from the orphanage last night, early in the morning. There's been very little sign of him, but we know that he went southwards, towards the quarry. That's trouble already. We need you to track him down and find him. We'll give you a timer for this one, but if you just find the body, that's acceptable too.
I can do that.
He pulls out one of those ice spheres and flicks his finger and lights a magical flame within. 48 hours.
Izukan will grab his coffee cup that is way too small for him, kind of drink down the rest of it, pushes himself out of his chair, grabs the ice globe, and begins his day.
Where's the first place Izukan goes?
The orphanage.
Okay. The orphanage is not in the greatest part of town, admittedly. It's a little westward in the region known as Dark Sprawl. However, the Frozen Ire Inn is right on the edge of Dark Sprawl, so it's not too far. As you head over, you can see a tall, very gloomy-looking, old historic building. Looks like someone's mansion, a private estate that was turned into a place for children without a home. There's a large iron gated fence around it. As you walk up to the front doors, you can see a woman opens the door, younger, maybe mid-20s, but she wears a white gown and a white hood that covers her head. She's a nun. Approaches you out in the snow, meeting you halfway. Good morning.
Good morning.
Here from the Ire.
Yes.
Right this way. You can see several children kind of along the stairwell, kind of holding onto the banister, kind of looking down at you.
He does his best to not be, like, super intimidating to the children. He is a big scary dragonborn, right? So obviously a lot of these kids are going to be in the same way that a lot of Frozen Ire is scared of him, are going to be scared of him, but he's trying to make himself like sincere as possible that he is going to try and find this kid. And just looking at the other kids, what are their thoughts on the kid that went missing?
Looking at them, you see a face full of fear, but for the first time, and against what you would expect, it's not of you. Woman leads you deeper into the manor. Let me take you up to their room. We had him separated from the rest. There was something odd we were trying to figure out, but he left. What looks to be like a hidden stairwell that spirals up past the other floors and up into the attic. And you see what looks to be a very nice loft hidden bedroom.
Okay.
So nice big bed, warm blankets.
It wasn't like he was being neglected and separated from the rest. Okay.
No. We had given him this space for now. It was the original owner. He was a very paranoid individual. Has a bunch of secret rooms throughout the building. But we had him kept up here, away from the other children. He was setting them off.
Could you tell me more about this child? How was he different?
He wasn't that different. From the outlooks, he was a normal 12-year-old boy. Most lively green eyes you've ever seen. But just wherever he walked, things breaking, people getting injured, people fighting each other hysterically. No idea why they were fighting each other, just his mere presence ever since he got here. We separated him and things have calmed down, but
Then he ran away.
we were taking good care of him. We were trying to get someone from the college to see if maybe he was possessed, or
Okay.
he even left the only thing he came with. And she goes over to just a bag she has slung over her shoulder, pulls out what looks to be like a small stuffed animal thing. Looks like it was hand sewn. And you look at it, and it appears to be like a six-eyed dragon. It's like a little bit off-white.
It's a little off-putting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing that.
It doesn't look exactly like Izukan. Like, this has a set of wings off the back of it.
I want to make sure that this isn't a prank or like some sort of jokes.
But also, just looking at this, it looks old. This was made before you got here. And she is not lying.
Okay. Izukan's a bit taken aback by her whipping out a not spitting image of him, but close enough in detail and stuff like that. That is off-putting. Izukan will stand up, and this entire time Izukan is staring at this doll because this is weird. What do the other children think of him?
They're afraid. Since he came into these doors, like I said, chaos.
Izukan will leave the orphanage and head to best boy Fenris.
Fenris, I think, is just rolling around in stables, probably chewing on a large, meaty bone.
Izukan will call out to Fenris. Fenris!
You can see the eyes widen as Fenris kind of jumps up onto where the door is, begins climbing over.
Izukan's tried to stop him from doing that before. Tried to stop him from just climbing out of the stable. It's never worked. Ever. Before he can get to the door, Fenris has always climbed out of it before he can.
You can see Fenris does that thing that, like, lizards will do where they kind of, like, stick their tongue out and do, like, this little kind of hiss, but with, like, these big, wide, excited eyes.
As Fenris comes over, Izukan will just kind of get down on one knee and, similar to how you would treat a dog, starts petting him and, like, says hello.
And even though this drake can't speak, it understands you perfectly, and it has a way of communicating with you just through the way it looks at you and
Grunts and stuff like that.
grunts. Yeah, and you've spent a lot of time with this drake. You have a fairly good, like, emotional understanding with it.
From his belt, will remove the plush. This is not a toy. I need you to find wherever this scent leads.
You begin to approach. You feel like you're close, and you look in the distance as the sun barely has any light left. And in the distance, maybe a mile out, you can see a slight burst of orange. You see a small flame that begins to grow as a fire is being started.
Approaching the fire doesn't make himself known, but he will approach cautiously.
And as you make your way forward, you can see what looks to be the storm at this point is about the touchdown. You've got maybe 5 minutes, but this is a good ways out. So you're going to be in the storm a little bit before you get to this fire. Dismount and walk forward. And as you approach the light of the fire, you can look and see this figure. You see a young boy, looks about 12, covered in what looks to be fairly ragged clothing, but has a fur coat that's way too big for him, that he probably stole, as well as a set of fur-lined boots, do look to be his size, and a big, like, cap. And there's a pair of mittens laying in the snow as he has his hand being warmed, and he just looks up at you, fearlessly. Just looks back down at the fire.
Yuzukon will come up to the fire and sit down across from him. People are looking for you.
Really?
Yes.
Didn't think they cared about me.
Cared enough to at least put up a notice that you are missing.
Well, you found me. What are you gonna do?
That depends on you.
Kind of doesn't even make eye contact. Just looking into the fire.
I understand running away,
They don't understand me.
but they still wish to help.
They don't want to help. They just
At
want
least.
control.
Or at least fix you.
I don't need fixing. I'm not broken.
Can you tell me what's going on with you? It seems whenever you're around, fights start. Unlucky things happen.
It's just who I am.
You said he had, no response to me showing up whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Izukan will remove the dragon plush from his belt that he's had this entire time. Reaching over the fire, hand it to him.
Thanks.
Who made that?
I don't know.
You don't know or you don't remember?
Is there a difference?
There can be.
What's it matter to you?
Izukan will point to the horns on the doll, and then with his other hand points to his horns, and then points to the eyes on the doll, and then points to his eyes. The doll is oddly similar.
A lot of things are oddly similar.
What do
Like
mean
you
by
and
that?
that thing. You look oddly similar.
Indeed.
What do you think caused that?
Some people would call it fate, destiny, coincidence.
Well then, let's just chalk it up to that. Fate. I've been walking a lot today. And the kid kind of lays down. Curls up by the fire. Pulls the coat. Bit in front of his face.
Izukan and Fenris will keep watch in shifts between each other.
As you're sitting there watching, you see in the distance a faint glow for about 3-4 hours. And it's approaching.
Hello? The snow's really thick. I can't really see anything. It just gets in my eyes. Hello?
Izukan throws another piece of wood in the fire.
I hope somebody's out here. Owls get way too close to me and they try and... I've been pooped on 3 times. It's not nice out here.
Havoc, you do see a fire.
Havoc, I think Izukan hears just like a dead sprint start happening. Oh my god! Hey! Just so loud. He is so
love
loud.
Eventually, Havoc approaches into the light and you can see him. And Havoc, you see Izukan, his mount, and then like a bundle of just pelts.
Izukan? I didn't expect to see you out here.
I didn't expect to be out here.
Why are you, out in the storm like this?
Izukan will point at the bundle of pelts.
See Havoc kind of like looks around and then real quick starts going, oh! And starts like whispering. Even though he was just yelling a second ago.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, you found that kid. Great.
Yeah. But, let's just say, kid's weird.
Why?
First time you saw me, I remember you jumped a little bit.
Oh, not
Same
a little, a lot.
I walked up to this kid in the middle of the storm and he didn't react.
Oh, we got a little badass over here. What is he?
He,
6? 14?
somewhere in between there.
Hmm.
At the orphanage he was staying at, whenever he would, or it's not even his fault innately, kids around him would get into fights for no justifiable reason. They couldn't say why they did it. Just unexplainable events happened in his presence.
Okay, so the kid's weird. Okay.
Yes.
You see Havoc, with saying that, like, kind of looks over, like, is the kid actually asleep?
Khan doesn't care if the kid's actually asleep.
Boy, have I had a night.
If you're running through the storm, I assume so.
Yeah. I was set up.
I want to say, what did you do? But you said you were set up. So, what happened?
Well, Hogwin told me to go meet somebody. Did. Except they weren't there, and instead there was like a bag of knickknacks and a mask and a broken window. And then the Frostblade showed up, and they said stop, and just kind of noped out of there. And honestly, I wasn't really expected to run into contact with anyone. But 100% pretty sure I was set up. No, I was set up, but pretty sure there's like more to it, you know?
There's a reason you were set up?
Well, yeah, I mean, Godwin wouldn't, like, betray me like that. So, like, somebody did that on purpose. It's like, that's a lot of effort to go through. They had to, like, do a robbery first, and then make sure I was there on time.
So, what's your plan?
I mean, I technically am an adventurer, do this kind of stuff, and then just, hey, here's the guy who actually did it. Here's the evidence. I'm good. And if I got caught, you know, I'll just explain it to the Frostbands. I'm sure they'll understand. I think Havoc does, like, check up on the kid. Physically make sure that he is not, freezing to death.
He seems okay. Like, perfectly healthy.
Like, weirdly perfectly healthy, or just...
Maybe weirdly perfectly healthy. Expect maybe he has signs of a cold, especially with how long he was traveling.
I think I think the thing is that he's truly not looking for like the dangers of the forest or anything. He is looking for frostbrands. Just
Yeah.
He's not thinking about the danger of the forest or anything like that.
And as the sun kind of begins to rise in the distance, those around you begin waking up. You've done a good job. No one came throughout the whole night.
Havoc just standing triumphant, facing the sunrise.
Yeah.
Izukan looks for the kid.
What kid?
Damn it!
And you see Havoc like looks around like he got in this pose before the sun rose, expecting to have done a good job.
Mm-hmm. The kid is gone.
What? What?
Is there even a pile of like rags or anything like that, or do you just
Stuffed doll's still there.
Yo, what's this thing? You see Havoc like picks up the doll. Izukan!
apparently
This looks like exactly like you. One for one.
A little bit different, but yes.
Holds it up next to Izukan. 1 for 1.
Havoc,
don't
you are
have
holding
weights.
it up next to Izukan. You see something move in the background behind him.
1 for... Huh?
2?
And you look and you see moving out from like a pile of snow what looks to be a large saber-toothed tiger. Its mouth seems to be full of blood.
Oh, that's not good.
That kid's dead. Izukan stands to his full height.
And immediately as he starts to stand up, this thing just sees, hey, that center mass is now easier to get to.
Oh goddamn.
And it starts charging. As it jumps up and it claws you down to the ground, and is then going to go for a bite attack, slams its face into the snow. as you kind of roll out of the way.
Having this thing pounce on Izukan doesn't like that. So Izukan is gonna rage.
The saber-tooth goes. It looks directly at you, Izukan.
You know, I was expecting you to be a little bigger, a little stronger too.
As it just starts speaking. It is then going to make another claw attack.
I'm gonna,
How do you finish it?
Izukan.
Its face is already like split. Like
Izukan will take both of his hands and just kind of reverse them, reach into the split, and just right down the middle.
Yeah, you rip, and it kind of travels all the way down to the neck, where it then collapses into the snow. In that instant, as it dies, what looks to be a serpent crawl out of the corpse and begin to whelm and grow into another large, terrifying beast. This time, a large polar bear that gets up on its hind legs and roars.
Izukan, what's happening?
This has to be a fever dream. This is who I was sent to seek.
And it kind of gets back down on all fours and just looks at you.
Just a wormling in the snow.
Yeah, Havoc is just... I think Havoc's just confused right now, and it's just like, okay, brain off. And I think what Izukan sees is just Havoc fully falls into this, like, level of competency you don't think you would have ever expected Havoc to have.
Izukan just grabs its skull and crushes it.
Okay, as you crush it, you see it kind of collapse. Its head kind of collapses inwards for a second as it falls to its knees, and it stands back up, but instead into the form of a yeti.
Immortals are more annoying than I thought.
And he's going to swing at Havoc. Cut this one down once again, and you watch as this time it collapses into the snow.
Does it get back up?
As it lays down on the ground still before it pushes itself back up, and this time it's back on 4 legs, and you can see a large winter wolf.
You foolish mortal, I'll make your horns match.
And is going to bite. And it's telegraphed. You're able to like roll out of the way.
No, Havoc 100% puts his sword in
okay.
the wolf's mouth.
Yeah,
no,
putting it down,
part 2.
throwing it off, it kind of lands and looks down at you. And
Okay, seriously, doggy, what the hell are you doing? Like, you can see what's happening here. No? Okay. And Havoc just takes his sword and just, watch out!
Fenris jumps over this thing and bites down onto its neck, squashes it into the ground as it just goes limp. Its eyes gloss over before the body begins to swell. And you watch as the body swells and explodes outwards, just releasing blood and just white pelt fur everywhere, as a large mammoth appears in its face. Fenris is thrown back, and it stands tall before you.
You were saying, the young mortal swung with such determination, but no matter how hard he swung, he could never destroy his utter mediocrity.
And is just going to gore you.
You see Havoc just, like, fully ran through, just, like, coughing up blood.
As it kind of tramples away and turns and begins rushing back in. And as it rushes in, it's going to sideswipe Havoc. Havoc, you're knocked prone, and the last thing you see is a giant mammoth foot stomp down, and you're unconscious.
Does he take off the limiter? Yes or no?
Izukan, you try to just let everything out, but there's something holding you back.
We'll grab both of its tusks, rip off one, and just jam it straight through its forehead.
The mammoth collapses to the ground, and you watch as the furs kind of turn into this pelt over this figure's shoulders as they stand upwards, and you can see a dark-haired human, dark animal pelts, and green armor. And he just kind of looks at you. He has this long, like, glaive scepter thing in his hands that he kind of uses to push himself up. You definitely recognize this was the boy. You can see those same bright, piercing green eyes looking at you.
Hello, Izukan.
Fenris seeing this dude change and seeing there's an obvious change in, like, the setting, doesn't know exactly what to do. So he'll hold his action to attack.
Look at you, shackled by your own self-doubt and fear. If only you could just embrace your true power, but you chose to be a mere plaything.
And it's going to spin and turn, going to swing twice with the glaive. Start swinging out in your direction, and then turns back and hits Fenris. Knock him unconscious. And he just kind of turns back at you with this grin on his face. At this point, as you see, it's a dog going down that gets you. Izukan grows larger. The fury from within gets more potent. I want you to heal yourself to full. And then, in addition to your 7 temp, give yourself another 30.
So 37?
Yep. And then give yourself extra attack.
Ah, tell me, Izukan, do you even comprehend the depth of your heritage? It seems like you've been living in blissful ignorance. Well, maybe not totally blissful. He smiles.
You are scratching a bit at the pelt and the armor, but he's still just, with each swing, it feels like you're never able to land like the full hit. Even the one where you put a lot of energy behind it, it's still just this graceful slide back and forth in the snow, moving and just spinning around you, essentially. Just kind of smile and look at you.
At least you're making things a little bit more fun.
Figure just kind of walks around you.
Izukan, you know, I must say your performance was quite disappointing. I was expecting a bit more from the fabled mad worm at the glacial peaks. We don't all get what we hoped for.
Feel the glaive stabbed into your shoulder, completely like going through, as you are bloodied, and you can feel him begin to start lifting you up off the ground. You hit the one, and a little frustrated, he pushes you up on the spike, and you're surprised by how strong this individual is, as they hoist you up in the air, keeping you out of range from you making the other 2 attacks. And then they just turn and they throw you off the edge of the glaive as you go rocketing towards the rocks. And you're prone as he just kind of begins walking towards you. Havoc, you feel him kind of kick your leg as you're kind of laying there, head in the snow, just dazed.
I don't know what I hate more. Traveling all the way here to discover I found the wrong person, or to discover that the one I saw was not even worth the fret and the journey to begin with.
Izukan knows that this isn't the depth of what he's able to do, but he's scared to dive any deeper. Why? Why now? Why me? Why?
Sia made me aware of you. You know you're a dragon, right? Your kind. Your kind were meant to destroy mine, the giants. You're a beast. You're not of this world. You're a threat. But I said I was wrong. Was it worth the travel from Jotunheim?
Why would I even... I came out here looking for a fucking kid, and you think I'm a threat?
I know that. You're a beast. And that to control a beast, you need to do one of 2 things. Make it submit, or end it. You haven't gone down the wrong path yet. And if I find you do, I will end you. Stay away from her. You don't even know what I'm talking about. Wow,
No.
you really know jack shit.
Nobody told me anything about me, even in the glacial peaks. They said I arrived one day. I know I look different, but...
You are different. How about this, Izukan?
When he walks over to you, fearlessly looking up at you.
I let you live, alright? And if you ever become a threat to the giants, I will find everyone you love and tear them apart in front of your face. Do you understand me?
He
Yes.
turns, begins walking away. As he walks over, He sees Havoc. Will pick him up by the scruff of the hair, face out of the snow, and lean down and look at you.
Havoc, I think the name suits you well. I see a future in which you wreak havoc on your own dreams, your own potential. Quite tragic.
Does Havoc's eyes kind of like really open to like see this man? I think Havoc doesn't give a verbal response. I don't think he has enough physical energy to. He just coughs blood onto this man's face.
He hits your head into the ground several times, and you can feel your nose start to break. And he picks you up, a bloodied mess of a face.
Do you know what they say about heroes, Havoc? Their children often wither in the shadow of their greatness. You're no exception.
And he presses your head into the ground once more.
I think he just hears a really muffled, like, through the snow. You got a lot of quotes, don't you? Before passing out.
He kind of turns back and looks at you, Izukan.
Kind of pick himself up a little bit. Was that doll a premonition?
No, it was a gift.
Keep it. And you watch as it transforms into a hawk and begins to fly off, covered in your own blood. Just kind of propping yourself up. You look over and you see Havoc's blood pooled out from around his face.
Is he still breathing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sit still for a good long while until Havoc eventually kind of, you see him pick himself up a little bit.
You see Havoc just kind of like pushes himself up, kind of gets it so his face is no longer like sitting in his own blood. Then proceeds to flop himself over so his face is pointing upward, and then goes back to sleep for like another like 15 minutes.
You hear Izukan just kind of there, moving around.
Havoc still with his eyes closed, at this point just sprawled out, just completely painted red. What? What the hell? What?
I don't know. Oh god.
Really? Because I feel like you should know.
That's the worst part. I don't.
Like, that guy seemed intimately familiar that he knew you. You see Havoc kind of like places his hands on his nose, and you see lightly like this kind of low orange light as you hear like his nose snap back into place. Havoc just like uses some healing words / healing spells to just like heal his face.
Izukan rips something off, ties something up, and then you get beamed by a set of bandages.
Thanks. Ow. You know, I always thought you were like fancy dragonborn, you know, the whole 6 eyes and all that.
I always knew I was weird, but I didn't know I had some sort of like, oh god, everything hurts.
You know, why do the giants hate you though?
I mean, they hate all dragons.
But like, this seems pretty far.
This seemed targeted, yeah. This wasn't just like, it's a dragonborn. F that dragonborn. No, that was, that's Izukan.
What did he call you? Like the mad worm of...
Oh, the mad worm of the glacial peaks.
It is a really cool name. How did... What?
I have a feeling it's in relation to thing that happened in the glacial peaks when I was there.
That's really specific.
Also, while we're on the topic, son of a hero?
Don't...
How about this? You don't look into it.
Definitely my dad.
I won't look into it.
You know, I'd say that's fair, but...
We did get jumped. We did get jumped because of me. Okay, that's fair. Okay,
Like, I know why I'd get jumped by my past. Normally that'd be like guards or something.
I don't know why I'd get jumped by my past.
Like, did you do something? Like, this seems like another case of, like, this required a lot of effort for this to go down.
He did also say he traveled a very long way to be disappointed, so...
And I guess that's why he didn't kill you.
He also didn't kill me because he said, like, don't interact with her. And then... I don't know who her is, but I'm gonna take his advice because that hurt.
I get. Does he mean like the general, just like all women? No, no, no. Don't talk
No
to him.
women. Oh, I don't know. It sounded more specific than just women because he didn't say don't talk to women. He said don't talk to her. Oh God.
I don't know. He's a giant. Maybe he was bad at translating.
Make your way to the Frozen Iron through the streets. You guys do a fine job. You've been in the city for a while, Havoc. Kind of navigating through Dark Sprawl. You get your way to Frozen Iron. What do you do once you're outside? And I'm assuming you're along like the back of it, not the front.
Izukan will tell Fenris to go to the stables. Izukan is going to go through the front because he doesn't need to hide himself.
Yeah.
Before Izukan goes in, Havoc's gonna say, "They probably have a bounty on me." And you'll see he like reaches like into his coat, pulls out some rope, and just will tie up his own wrists.
As the door opens and Havoc is bound, everyone kind of looks around and they see you. And there's kind of this silence that washes over the room. You can see Baradoff stands there before you.
Well, well, well. What have we got here?
First off, takes the ice globe out, puts it down, grabs the two halves of the saber-tooth head, puts it down.
What happened?
You know, it's funny that I ran into Izukan last night. I didn't expect it to end up. Well, I was gonna say trying to save a kid, but well, and I kind of Havoc just looks over at the saber-tooth. I mean, it was kind of already too late.
I see. Izukan, take your prize in the back with me.
Okay.
And he kind of steps out from behind the bar table and leads you into a back room, down a hall. And as he ushers you in and closes the door behind you all, you know I'm not dumb, right?
Yes,
Izukan, you've been out in the snow.
correct.
You shouldn't have known Havoc was wanted.
He told me he would be.
I mean, if I was gonna come back, might as well get my butt a bounty. And I slap his back.
It was also because I needed help confirming that that happened. Pointing at the saber-tooth head and the very obvious singe marks.
So the kid's dead?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll get you a reward later. Havoc,
Yeah.
what do you think about me?
You want me to be honest, or do you want me to lie to your face?
I'll be honest.
I think you're really mean. But, and you see Havoc kind of looks down. I think you do a lot for this city. Always looking at what's best for me.
Havoc, I think you are a decent person. I hear good things about you.
See, there's the look of like,
Havoc, half the reason I send you on the streets to remove snow. Not just because you're good at it, but because you bring joy to this city and to those in it. You're a warm, friendly face that many get excited to see, get excited to speak with. And that's not something we get a lot around here. We got a lot of cold, cunning, quiet types like your big friend over here. They don't help bring a city together.
while this speech is going on, Havoc has just undone the ropes.
Yeah.
And like put them back in his own pocket.
Seems there's some friends of yours that think the same.
And you see a look, I think it's actually of worry, as Havoc has kind of like, he has put together that whatever this was definitely goes deeper. So knowing that like anyone has come to Frosthorn in the recent time, and stuff like that, probably means they were on that track. So, you'd believe me when I said I was completely set up, right?
Potentially. You have friends who think that there's something more to it. Orange-haired and a fawn.
Doing a burn wave.
Well, you're lucky they didn't leave too long ago. Maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Oh.
If you really think there's more to it. I think I overheard they were going to the old observatory.
Havoc would know that's in a shitty part of town.
Yeah.
How looks over. It's not good for a place like them.
Go kids.
School kids.
I don't care.
They seem to have like any aids or anything? Because I 100% think somebody wanted to do something in this city, and they wanted people to not be looking at it.
Well, best of luck.
If I do get caught, I wasn't here.
No, you were here, but you broke out the back and punched me in the face, which I wasn't expecting.
He's having to knocks him in the jaw.
Yeah, he.
And it does 0 damage because Havoc's unarmed strikes.
Yeah.
Weak.
And then I yelled quite loud, frustrated, as Havoc bolted out the door and Izukan ran after him.
And Havoc's already running.
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000,
You're good to go.
4 1,000. Okay. Izukan briskly walks enough that he is moving faster than people expect him to, but he's not fully running.
And you hear Frosthorn yell out behind you as you're kind of jogging out this door to this room, out into the snow. And as you quickly rush your way towards the observatory, that's where we're going to call the end of today's session.
Woo! And
So-
ended on a nice note after
Yeah.
hitting
after
our
the chaos.
absolutely getting rocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.